Today is Election Day. It is a day that we have been dreaming of for more than a year. And as much as things have changed over the course of this campaign, in many ways it is the same campaign we launched on October 23rd. A campaign that looks to transform the most expensive city in the United States of America into one that's affordable for each and every person that calls it home. And I'm so thankful to the more than 100,000 volunteers who have brought us to this point, where we are on the brink of making history in our city, on the brink of saying goodbye to a politics of the past, a politics that tells you what it can't do and really what it means to say is what it won't do, and to usher in a new era in this city where we understand that we do not get to choose the scale of the crisis we face. We simply get to choose the manner in which we respond.
We need to clean up the city. We need a better public school system. We need more police to keep us safe on the streets. And we need to be able to stand up to Donald Trump and fight for New York. We know what Donald Trump will do if Mamdani is elected. We know he'll send the National Guard here to New York. We know because Trump said last night on television, he will cut funding to New York City.
I have an affinity for young people. Andrew Cuomo, my adversary, is like the uncle you don't want to come over on the holidays. If you're less than 30, he's flirty. You happen to be a female. Need I say more? He's not somebody you naturally want to bond with. Whereas if you've noticed when I'm out in the streets, wherever I go, there are young people who are attracted to my campaign. Most of my campaign team is comprised of millennials and Gen Zers. Obviously, some are not going to vote for me. But I'm sort of in this, I'll call it space. Like the TV program, Everybody Loves Raymond. Everybody loves Curtis.
All right, let's stay with the story now and speak to Sherwin Bryce-Pease, who is monitoring Election Day, which includes a number of key races in other jurisdictions around the country. Sherwin, thank you so much for your time. I mean, we can talk about some of those other races, but the major focus is the mayoral race in New York that is pitting a fresh face against the old guard and a president who is seeking to put his thumb on the scale.
Well, Bongi, as you know, Donald Trump is not on the ballot in this election. A number of jurisdictions holding state races, mayoral races, including here in New York City. But releasing the statement on Truth Social, I'll just read you a little bit of it. Essentially endorsing Andrew Cuomo, the independent candidate in this mayoral race here in New York, but who critically lost the Democratic primary to Zohran Mamdani in June, and then started continuing as an independent. Trump writing, "I would much rather a Democrat who has a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He, Mamdani, was nothing as an assemblyman, and as mayor of potentially, again, the greatest city in the world, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory." Not endorsing the Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa that you heard there, that you heard there at the end of that clip, but rather sort of seeking to undercut both the Republican candidate and Mamdani by choosing the centrist Democrat Andrew Cuomo. The only problem is that Andrew Cuomo is running to be the mayor of a city in a state that is a very deep blue progressive state, in a city that is particularly progressive within that context. Donald Trump's popularity, according to a CNN poll yesterday, came in at just 37%. 63% of people in the United States do not agree with the trajectory of the country under President Trump's leadership since he took office about 10 months ago. So the question is, Can this really help Cuomo in a deep blue state like New York, or will it in fact hurt him? Look, there are serious questions about the resume, the CV of Zohran Mamdani. He was elected as an assemblyman to the state legislature here in New York in 2001. He's never really run an operation that is as broad and bureaucratic as running the city of New York. It is the largest city in the country, a population of between 8 and 10 million, a budget of $120 billion, a bureaucracy of about 300,000 employees, the largest police department in the city. And remember, this is, being the mayor of New York is not just about campaigning with a vision, but also that, when the rubber hits the road, this is very much about how you are going to govern, and he certainly lacks experience in that regard. But this is going to come down to the voters. He's leading in the polls by some big numbers. The likelihood that Zohran Mamdani does not win this election today is very, very slim. Polymarket, the online betting platform, says his chances of winning is around 93%. So it comes down to the voters and the type of mandate he's going to get. Let's listen to what some of the voters are saying.
I'm just going to put it out there. I voted for Zohran. I think he is definitely the best candidate. And, we'll see how things go. But that's where I put my vote.
Cuomo es el hombre de experiencia que necesita la ciudad de Nueva York.
Cuomo is an experienced man who can carry out the changes that this city needs. The other candidate has no experience and is from the left. We are conservatives.
De la izquierda.
I like that he has experience. I like that he wants to put more cops on the street, opposed to Mamdani, who wants to take away our police, which is extremely dangerous. We need more safety, we need more police, and we need experience. Mamdani has no experience.
Having someone create such a big platform from a grassroots standpoint against someone like Cuomo, who's gotten billions of dollars from investors and even recently got endorsed by Trump, I believe. It's kind of a test to see, can we still do this as a democracy, or are we going to fall the way that we've been following ever since, I guess, 2016?
Because Cuomo is the best. He is going to be the best. He is for us all the way. Cuomo, 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 Cuomo. Hello? I'm blessed. Cuomo is for us.
I was really inspired to get involved to canvass for Zohran because of his message about affordability. People, I think, dismiss affordability as a catchphrase or as a political phrase, but ultimately it gets to the heart of so many things that are challenging for people.
Bongiba, you'll know, of course, that Zohran Mamdani, as a democratic socialist, is in the likeness of a Bernie Sanders or an AOC here in New York. And what are the things that are creating such controversy in terms of his vision and what he's offering? He's offering free public transport, stabilized rent, city-run grocery stores, and universal childcare by taxing the wealthiest New Yorkers and some of the biggest corporations here. And that is causing some consternation. But look, governing is going to be very interesting. He's going to have to get buy-in if he wants to raise taxes from the state assembly. And the question is, will he be able to bring the coalition that's getting him across the finish line, probably tonight, into how he governs the largest city in the United States?
And Sherwin, there are also, of course, races for governor, for example, in the states of Virginia and New Jersey, and other mayoral races across the country. And while, of course, President Trump is, obviously not on the ballot, so there's also this sense, right, that outcomes on these polls tend to reflect the national mood in the country, not so?
Yes, and I think Democrats want to see this as a referendum on the last 10 months of Donald Trump's presidency. He has been very disruptive in terms of how the federal government operates, how the military operates, the dismantling of various agencies that have been funded by the United States Congress. Congress has played a diminished role during this presidency, and that has created a great deal of consternation in this country, particularly as we see the standoff between Republicans and Democrats right now in terms of the second longest government shutdown at the federal level. And the previous one was under Donald Trump in 2018, 2019. And this could in the next few days, become the longest government shutdown in history. And so there is a sense that, without Donald Trump on the ballot, that this is still a referendum on how he has led this country. And so Democrats are really looking to sweep the board in places like the governor's race in New Jersey, the governor's race in Virginia. There are some issues in terms of redistricting on the ballot in California, some judicial voting appointments in the state of Pennsylvania. All this kind of factors into a repudiation, if you're a Democrat, of the incumbent in the White House. And if they were not to do very well in those races, it could be an affirmation of how people see this country, the trajectory of this country under the leadership of Donald Trump.
So, Sherwin, then, when do we expect the results, particularly when it comes to the New York race?
Right, so polls opened at 6 a.m. this morning. People can vote until 9 p.m. local time. That's about 4 a.m. South African time. So by morning live, I think tomorrow morning, we'll probably have some tabulations on the board, probably a result if it is as sweeping a victory as the poll suggests for Mamdani.
Well, Sherwin, before I let you go, there's something else, of course, I have to mention. Congratulations to you, of course, and Aaron Burbrick. You have now been chosen as the gold winner of the Ricardo Ogeta Memorial Prize for broadcast coverage of the UN. And of course, this is quite big given the number of people who will be in attendance and even their stature. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful and humbled. Aaron has been such a mainstay of the operation here. So this is a feather in the cap, not just for us, but for all of us at SABC. I'm as good as you are, and this is a family right here. So thanks to all the managers that let us do the work that we do.
Certainly so proud of both of you. Thank you so much for that. My colleague, Sherwin Bryce-Pease, live for us in New York.